So I love this genre of storytelling, and I specifically love how millennial the recruit feels. And so I'm really curious to know how did the story come to you and this cast of characters come to you?
I mean, ultimately, it came to me first through the idea of gray mail, which is blackmail with national security. This idea that there are people out there who are trying to blackmail the government, the CIA specifically, because they say they know secrets. Most of them are, they don't. They're they call them the crazies for a reason. But that seemed like a really fun way in and fresh way into the world. And then in terms of the millennials, I mean, that was to me the heart of the show, is that instead of coming at it through a 30-something-year-old spy who's really good at his job, to come at it through a kid right out of law school who doesn't, is barely, gotten his jacket off before he starts down this rabbit hole, but who has roommates, who has complicated relationships, who has, romance and all that stuff, also felt like a fresh take on a spy show.
How early on was Doug Liman brought in?
Well, we set it up ultimately, I mean, with Doug's company, Hypnotic. So Doug was involved from the very beginning. The question always is, with a incredibly busy director, is he going to be available to actually do it? And so, luckily for us, the stars aligned and his schedule opened up. And so, but yeah, no, he was involved from the very beginning.
So I was a huge fan of Castle, and I know you've worked with Nathan Fillion, obviously, on The Rookie. So we have to talk about that cameo. How did that come to be? Was it like an instant yes with Nathan?
It was. I called him. I said, "Hey, will you?" And before I even finished the sentence, he said yes, because Nathan is such a great guy. But I just thought, this CIA director is coming in at the last minute of the show, really, of the first season, and he's got to come in and like own the room. And and Nathan is just such a great actor and so charismatic, but also, and he got excited because he's like, I get to curse, which he never gets to do on network television. So yeah, it was super fun. And, I was grateful for him saying yes like that.
Were there any scenes that ended up changing, whether it be when like a new location was found or something changing like on the day? I'm always so interested to see how things change once you're actually in the location.
I mean, we were shooting up in Montreal over winter, which is, at best freezing and at worst like -20. So there were a lot of adjustments that had to be made over time. We also had planned to do a lot of shooting overseas on location, and COVID really hurt us on that. We were going to go to Morocco for some stuff, but they literally closed their borders because of COVID. And so we ended up having to make adjustments and shoot a lot of stuff in Montreal, and just there is definitely a visual effects component of it, but in a way that's meant not to be noticed. Sometimes that stuff's supposed to be flashy, but for us, it's like the black site in Yemen we shot in a parking lot in Montreal at the sound stages, and the world around it is created, but, again, in a way that's seamless.
Can you talk a little bit about the casting process? I think Noah and Laura are just wonderful in their roles. Were they actors that you were looking for those roles, like specifically, or was it through an audition process?
So Noah attached before we took it out to Netflix to sell it to Netflix. We brought him on board super early. It's obviously very important in this day and age to find a star for your show. It gives you the most chance of success, and it's rare that the people that you love and really want to get are available. As the same thing with Doug, but we got lucky and he was available and he loved the script. And so he came on board, and then it was just a question of finding the right people. And, Noah's an executive producer on the show, and he was very involved in the casting process, and, was very generous with his time. Like, he would read with the actors and do chemistry reads, and, because it was important to surround him. Because even though he is the lead of the show, there is a strong ensemble, and we found phenomenal actors to fill those roles. And so, it was a lot of fun to go through that process with him.
The ending of the season had me wanting to like find a number to call not Netflix and be like, you have to renew this for a second season. It was just so good. Yeah. How far out do you have this mapped out?
I know things about where I would want to take it and where I'd want to go with it. I mean, obviously you hope for success. But I, as you could see with that ending, like I didn't plan for failure, because I feel like in this day and age, you just have to be bold. You have to be dramatic, and, and to the expense of everything else. And you can't worry about season 2s or season 3s or beyond. You have to go, what's the best version of the story right now? And trust that people will come to it, and everybody will, and then you'll get another shot at it.
Can we actually talk about that cliffhanger ending and the way it all kind of comes together? I went back and rewatched some of the previous episodes just to like see where things are like slowly working towards that. But can you talk a little bit about the process of building to that like jaw-dropping finale?
Yeah, I mean, it was important to really sort of lay the breadcrumbs really early. I mean, you notice in episode 2, Max, when she's threatening Yadira, the woman who tried to shank her in prison, in bed, she's talking about her daughter in a way that's organic, a way that's connecting, because it's involved with the threat. You have a daughter, I have a daughter, that kind of thing, and just really just subtly lay those groundworks, and also, the nichka of it all, and the CIA office when they're going through who we got to kill and who we don't have to kill and all that kind of stuff. And so, yeah, I mean, because we knew where we were going, we managed to find all these little places to sort of move that story. So it felt inevitable, even though it was shocking and unexpected. The second it happened, it doesn't come out of nowhere. It's just you didn't have enough information. So, because, I think audiences hate being surprised, but it not being earned.
Can you talk about anything that you were surprised by or learned during the process? Because obviously you talked a little bit about like this being filmed during COVID, and that was such a brand new era of, filmmaking for a lot of people. So can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I mean, I had the benefit of having done The Rookie from the very beginning of COVID. I mean, season 3 of The Rookie was right when COVID had hit, and we delayed production, trying to figure out how we were going to make a show in the time where everybody had to wear masks, and didn't know anything about it. So that the good news was that I had experience with that. But, I mean, we shot in Montreal, and I'd never sort of shot there before. And our sets weren't ready right when they were supposed to be. So there was some scrambling, which, I mean, this is all first year show stuff. This happens all the time. But there's constantly stuff that you have to adjust to. You just have to try and keep your head and just, go left when you can't go right.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much, and fingers crossed on a season 2.
Thank you so much.